Let's talk about The Secret in Their Eyes. No, not the 2015 movie starring Nicole Kidman. We're talking about El Secreto de Sus Ojos, that won the 2009 Academy Award for Best Foreign Language Film. Secret shows us a retired court investigator writing a novel inspired by an unsolved grisly case. But this procedural thriller reopens the character's life in the backdrop of one of Argentina's darkest periods. To understand this period, let's get into three things about Secrets. Thing number one, Juan Perón and Peronism. During the 20th century, Argentina alternated between democratic governments and authoritarian and often military-led governments. These governments created economic instability and a divergence of left-wing and right-wing political factions. Yet Juan Perón emerged in the 1940s with policies that unified many of these factions. These policies became known as Peronism, an ideology of state-supported business and labor rights, and a strong populist nationalist belief in Argentina as a third place separate from capitalism and communism. A larger Peronist party held a left-wing faction that supported Perón's relationships and support for the working class, and a right-wing faction that supported Perón's embrace of fascist influences. Due to anti-clerical stances and economic issues, a military coup overthrew Perón in 1955 and forced him in exile. In 1973, a new election returned Perón from exile into power. Despite hope that Perón would resolve partisan differences, authoritarian measures became normalized, especially after the Ezeiza airport massacre and the assassination of Perónist associate José Ignacio Rucci by guerrillas called Montoneros. Thing number two, AAA. The Secret in Their Eyes takes place in 1975. By this time, Juan Perón is dead, but his third wife, Isabel, has taken over a precarious and divided country. In The Secret in Their Eyes, we follow these court investigators helping a widower solve a gruesome case, the rape and murder of his wife. Light spoilers, a case becomes complicated because the murderer convicted receives freedom from a rival court investigator and reemerges as a killer in a right-wing Peronist death squad known as the Argentine Anti-Communist Alliance, or AAA. Formed during Juan Perón's final years by his secretary José López Rega, AAA sought to destroy the left wing, formerly Peronist guerrillas Montoneros, and any potential supporters. This war between AAA and Montoneros precipitated what's now called the Dirty War, which led to between 9,000 to 30,000 estimated deaths. Most of these deaths and disappearances happened after Jorge Videla and the military coup of 1976 took over. But in Secret, we see the start of the Dirty War as the characters evade justice and commit heinous crimes against humanity. Thing number three, Law of Due Obedience. The Secret in Their Eyes depicts the early years of the Dirty War and AAA's killing within the framed story of a retired court investigator in 1999. We see the 70s from the point of view of someone looking back in 1999. This character, played by Ricardo Darín, seeks to understand that period. It asks, what does justice mean if painful memories never fade away? For Argentina in 1999, this question not only relates to our protagonist's personal recollections in law, but to Argentina politically. Many of the AAA members and subsequent military junta perpetrators received amnesty due to the law of due obedience. After the trial of the juntas, where Argentina prosecuted perpetrators of the Argentina Dirty War, Argentina's National Congress passed the law of due obedience, which granted amnesty without proof to anyone who carried out orders under the military rank of colonel, because they were following orders or due obedience. That meant many of the AAA members, including the antagonist of this film, was exempt from prosecution. After the timeline of this movie, which ends in 1999, the law of due obedience was repealed to allow prosecution of extreme cases.